Good afternoon, my friends. Are you ready to have some scan and cut fun? This is my second attempt at trying to teach you guys the very little I know about the scan and cut. This is the model I have that Santa Claus brought me this year. It's the SDX225F. There are lots of other models, which seems to be one of the big issues. There's all the older models, then there's the regular 225 that came out before this one did. That's the one Becky has. I mean, it came out the same year. I don't know, they might have come out at the same time. I don't know. I just know when I called and asked for one, the one they had an F after it, which stands for fabric. Not only are there lots of older models, there's already a 2021 new model. And its number, I don't know its whole number, but it's a 230. It's a DX230. I don't know if it has a letter after it or not. So, brother, who makes this machine, has figured out that the more blades they make and the more mats they make that they do not include with the machine, the more money they can charge us to get all that extra stuff. So it is very helpful to know what we really need and what we can live without. Okay? So the first thing you need to do, if you've got a machine that's in your closet, you've never opened it, get it out and open it. Take it all apart. Lay all of the things out that come with it. Remember to open the little doors, take off all the cardboard, take all of the little tools out. Take the two mats, you'll probably get two mats and two blades, take those out and lay them all down and look at what you have. Now mine came with extreme poor instruction. I have watched videos, I've talked to my friend Jeff, I've talked to my friend Becky, and still trying to piece together what two blades do I have? What two mats do I have? How many other mats are there? How many other blades are there? Why didn't they send me this? Why didn't they give me that? So, figure out what came with your machine. Now, prior to this model, I can't tell you what came with your machine, except for Becky. I think Becky told me she got the black mat and a blue mat, and she got a black blade and a blue blade. My machine came with a black blade and a gold blade and a purple mat and a, what's the other color mat? A gold mat. So I got a gold mat and a purple mat with mine. Right here. And when I say gold and purple, I'm talking about the colored bar down at the bottom. Now, since my lightning fast mind likes to forget everything every 2 seconds, I wrote. Now be sure if you write on your mat, it's way down here at the bottom, out of the way, because all of these dots and squares and marks, those are information your Scan and Cut needs to tell it what mat you're using. Okay? So if you write something, write it way down here at the bottom where your computer isn't going to get confused. And since the hole is here and here, I put a command hook on my wall, and so I hang mine upside down on the command hook. It works perfect. Each mat comes with a cover. You see here? A plastic cover. Why? Why does it come with a plastic cover? Because if it doesn't have the plastic cover on it, everything's going to stick to it. It's going to stick to your shirt, and stick to your paper, and stick to your machine, and stick to your table. It's a sticky mat because things stick to it in order for it to go through the machine and come back out, and it stays stuck, okay? So don't ever throw the plastic mats away, okay? So let's talk about mats insofar as what I know, okay? There is a mat that's called a scanning mat. I have not heard anybody talk about this scanning mat. There's no information in my $100 book. There's no information with my brother Scan and Cut machine about a scanning mat. Jeffrey told me about it. I had to go to Amazon and order the scanning mat because Jeffrey told me I needed to have a scanning mat. So here it is. It just came today. It isn't even open yet. It was $45 for this little piece of cardstock. $45. Let's open it up and see what's so special about a scanning mat. Now notice that the scanning mat is black and it has the black stripe on the bottom. All right, we're going to take it out of this plastic and we're going to throw that over there. And it's going to fall on the floor. All right, so this has, what is this up at the top? I don't know, that looks important. It's some kind of a blue sticker thingy. I think it's sticky underneath here, and I have no idea why. Is there a plastic sheet? I think there is. Yes. All right, so here's the scanning mat. It has this on it, and I think you probably leave this on it. Put your design on your paper, whatever you want to scan. Think of it as a printer. You're going to put it under here, and then I assume this stays on it. And then it goes through your machine and it scans. And then say there was a big heart on here, then your machine could copy the heart, and then you could make a cutout of it, okay? So this is called a scanning mat. I just got it $45. Oh my. I don't know for sure what this thing is up here. I'll have to ask Jeff. Number 2 mat. Number 2 mat has purple on the bottom of it. I have a 12-inch one and I have a 24-inch one. The purple mat is called, it says on these mats what they're called. What did that black one say it was called? Hey, go figure, it says scanning mat on it. So purple, these are the exact same mat except one is longer. This one came with my Scan N Cut. This one I had to pay for and order. Okay? So the second kind of mat is called standard tack adhesive mat, and mine is purple. Standard tack. Now, I also know there's a standard that comes in black. What's that about? I don't know. We'll talk about that later. Okay, so that one is called standard tack adhesive mat. And it is for, because I have it written on it so I could remember it longer than 2 seconds, it is for vinyl. Now, I was watching a video yesterday. Look in the description box below this video and you will see 2 YouTube channels, maybe more, that I mentioned. But there's one that I found. It's from Prairie Quilt in Hennessy, Oklahoma. I've actually been to that quilt shop several times. It's a really, really, really nice quilt shop. But evidently they sell Scan N Cuts now. And so the girl actually does a very easy to understand short little tutorial. And it's on vinyl. One is the iron-on vinyl and the other one is the non-iron-on vinyl. So at 10 o'clock last night I was talking to Jeffrey. I said, well, good grief, why are there 2 kinds of vinyl? He said, Joy, there's way more than 2 kinds. Wouldn't you know? So, from my vast experience of about 3 days, as far as I know, there is a vinyl that is iron-on. Iron-on. I bought some from Hobby Lobby. It's packaged like this. You can either get it all one color or you can get it with several colors. This has 3 colors in it. Okay? And how did I find out? I walked into the vinyl aisle and of course it was just everywhere. It was vinyl land. And of course I always talk to myself. I talk to myself all the time. Some customer took pity on me. Oh, that poor old lady's talking to herself. I better help her. She came over to me and she said, be sure that the vinyl you buy is iron-on. I said, thank you very much. So I bought iron-on vinyl. Okay? All right. So the standard tack adhesive mat holds vinyl. It also holds cardstock. Got the wrong color here. Cardstock. So I know those 2 things about that mat. I also know that one of the videos that I watched, the Prairie Quilt one, the girl said, I almost always use my standard tack mat. I use it for everything, she said. Okay, so that's a good thing to know. So if you get the standard tack mat, I think you can do just about anything you want to do with it. All right, so I got that one. I told you, I got that one. I bought the long one. I got the short one with my Scan N Cut. Okay, so here's the next one that came with my machine. So this is mat number 3 that I know about. There could be 20 other mats. Now keep this in mind. Some of the mats don't go with the newer machines. Okay, that's important. If you have an older machine, just ignore me. Just ignore all this stuff because these mats probably don't go with your machine and you need to make your own video and teach me. Okay, so this one is gold and it's called Fabric Mat. So I wrote fabric on this one. Okay, so this is called Fabric Mat. So what's the difference in the fabric mat and the standard mat? The difference is you still have to keep the plastic on everything because it's sticky. But the difference is the tackiness of it. It is more tacky. And so it's more sticky. And so it is for fabric. Okay? And that's the number one reason I wanted the F machine that was for fabric. And evidently all that means is instead of the machine coming with another mat that's not for fabric, it comes with the one that is for fabric. As far as I know. Okay? So that's self-explanatory. The fabric mat is for fabric. So let's talk about blades. That's another whole confusing subject with Scan N Cut. From my very limited knowledge, there are lots of different colors of blades. Also, I believe that you can keep the holder. This is the holder, the blade is inside it. From what I understand, you can buy new blades and you take the old blade out and put the new blade in. Those, I don't know what those cost. They're probably a fortune too. So these are the two that came with my machine. A gold blade, they call it a beige blade, I think, and a black blade. Now I also heard one of those girls say, I use the black blade for everything. Go figure that. So I don't know about that. For me, the black blade is for the standard tack, mat, and vinyl and cardstock. Okay? So let's write that down. This is the mats. Now we're going to talk blades. Blades. Black cap. And what I call gold cap. From what I understand by Becky, is with her machine, she got a blue cap. And I heard from the new 230 machine that there's another new cap, and I don't know what color it is. Seemed like it was blue to me, but I think it's a dark blue and this is a light blue. But there's another cap. I don't have it, and it's for the 230, so I'm not even going to write it down. But it evidently is just for vinyl. Why do you need it when you've got the black blade for vinyl? I don't know. Alright, so I got the black cap and the gold cap. Becky got, with her 225, she got the blue cap and the black cap. She got a blue scanning mat. I did not get a blue scanning mat. I asked her what the blue scanning mat was. She said it was standard tack. Well, if the blue mat's standard tack and the purple mat's standard tack, why do you have to have two different ones? Oh, so confusing. So, get your machine out, like I said. Get your blades out. Figure out what color they are. Figure what your mat's now. In a perfect world, Becky and I agree on this. It seems to us that the color of the blade ought to match the color of the mat. In the case of the fabric mat, it does match. But in the case of the standard tack with the purple on the bottom, the blade that goes with it is black. I don't get it. I'm sorry, I just don't get it, but whatever. Like I said, get your mats out, get your blades out, and figure out which blade goes with which mat. Lots of videos out there. So I figured that much out. So, the next thing to know is, I told you last night, my friend Jeffrey and I were talking on the phone about 10 o'clock last night, and I was telling him, I was asking him, I texted him and I said, what's with the two kinds of vinyl? I said, I realized that I have the iron on because I'm ironing it on my shirts. I said, if you're not going to iron it on your shirt and you're going to make it to like stick on a window or a piece of wood or a cup or a mug or whatever, I said, what kind of vinyl is that? And he said, that kind of vinyl you cut right side up. The kind of vinyl you put on my t-shirt, you cut right side down. So the pretty side, the glitter side, isn't the glitter pretty? Glitter side goes down when you're doing a t-shirt. Iron on. The other kind of vinyl is not iron on. You do it right side up. And then evidently there's a protective sheet on the back of that one and you pull it off and then it's suddenly super, super sticky and you rub it onto the cup or the mug or whatever. Jeffrey also told me that you can do a cutout where, in fact I have it here, I can show it to you. Where's my cutout? This is leftover fabric from another shirt I made and I'll show it to you. He said there's a vinyl that you can do this with. Throw all the letters away and keep this, which would be a stencil. Then he said you put the stencil on glass and then you paint some kind of stuff on all the letters. Then you like leave it overnight and then you take it off the next morning and your glass is all etched. So that's another kind of vinyl. So I would say pick something. Pick something and start. Pick out a blade they sent you and a mat they sent you that goes together and do a project with that. I started out with the fabric on the fabric mat. So for that shirt, I used the gold blade and the gold mat for fabric. And that's what I used to cut out the appliques that are on that shirt. So then I decided, yippee-ki-yo-ki-yay, let's try some vinyl today, okay? And that was the next day. And so then I decided I wanted to play with this pretty sparkly vinyl. So I took the black blade and the standard mat, and I made my vinyl shirt. When you do the fabric, you can iron the fabric on, which is fine, but then you still have to sew around it, or it's going to ravel all over the place. So I thought, oh my gosh, if I use the vinyl, there won't be any sewing. And you can wash it over and over again, it doesn't come off. Oh my gosh, so I was super excited about the vinyl. So this is the vinyl version. Yes, I decided to have the edges of the word bobbin point at each of my apexes. In case I'm ever in a wreck and my chest gets smashed, somebody can put on my shirt and figure out where to put my boobs back on. I died when I saw that in the mirror. I thought, oh joy, for heaven's sakes. But anyway, isn't it sparkly? And this has been washed and dried. So, super, super exciting. Now, one of the little tails came loose in the dryer, so I just brought it back in here and ironed it back on. So, evidently, you have to hold the different products down with your iron for a different amount of time. There's heat presses. There's super, super expensive heat presses Brother makes. Forget that. I'm not paying for those things. I think they're $200 or $300. And then you can buy an actual big heat press, you know, the big up and down jaws. Those are $200 or $300, so you might as well get one of those, in my opinion. Okay? So, I hope I haven't scared you out of Scan N Cut land. Because I am telling you, it is more fun than a barrel of monkeys. I'm going to go fire up my machine. I'm going to get some project ready, and then I'm going to let you watch me do it. Now, I make my own shirts, so I have to go cut out a shirt first to put something on. So, for you, I'll be right back. So stay with me. I wanted to show you over here. Oh no, this doesn't have a hole in it. Oh no, this is my scanning mat that just got here. There's some directions on the back, you may want to read them. But I think I'll put a hole in it because it's really nice to be able to hang them up. Look at all my others, I'll show you how they fit. There's this diamond shaped hole right here, and the plastic has the hole in it also. So, you know the command strips are the ones that you can pull off the wall without damaging your wall, right? So there's the long vinyl one. Here's my only fabric one. Put it up there. And this one doesn't have a hole. So that's all the mats I have. I have 4 total mats. I hope I don't have to order any more. I think I'll line up this diamond here on the bottom of this, and I think I'll cut it out with my, what is that little X-Acto knife thing, so I can hang this one up too. So, right here, command hook duty. Very nice. May I suggest that you get yourself some paper, a notebook, a pad, something to write on as you learn. I wrote down about the blades. You do not want to cut through the plastic tape, just the vinyl. Edit your design in Scan N Cut. Cut a sample. So, okay, the things that I'm learning as I go, I write them down. I made myself a little cheat sheet. It says number 1, get a design. Hello. And it has to be an SVG format. That means that after the design, there's a dot, and then if it's a picture, it can be a GIF, or it can be a JPG, or if it's a Word document, or an Excel document, it's always got 3 letters after it. The 3 letters after a design that will work in your Scan N Cut need to be SVG, okay? It stands for, let me see, Becky told me, Scalable Vector Graphic. I think that the newer versions can read some other kinds. I think PES and maybe some others, but I'm not sure about that yet, okay? Number 2, download and open with the Internet Canvas workspace. My machine's directions, which are pitiful, told me that I needed to go online and download the Brother Canvas workspace, which is the software that comes with the Scan N Cut. Okay? There's software that comes with it. It's kind of not that great of software, but I understand it's a lot better than it used to be. Okay? So, I downloaded it. I tried to use it. It made no sense. It didn't match any of my directions. I called Becky, the great frustration. I told you that in one of my videos, and she said, Joy, use the internet version. So, use the internet version of canvas.workspace.brother, whatever it is. If you just search for Canvas Workspace, it will come up. You'll have to have a password, but you know all about that. Number 3, edit if you want, but make sure it's a SVG file, number 1. Edit it in the internet. Then, because it has a wireless capability, technique, whatever, you can wirelessly send the design from your computer to your Scan N Cut. If that doesn't work for you, you can put your design on a flash drive. If you don't have the wireless capability, then you take the flash drive and you stick it in the side of your Scan N Cut here. Okay, so there's several ways to get your design. Number 4, I wrote down turn on the Scan N Cut and find the design. So you'll find the design that you sent wirelessly, or you'll find it in this thing. Number 5, set your board, 12 by 12 or 12 by 24, and the machine makes you choose if it's a 12 by 12 or if it's a 12 by 24. Now that's this version. I understand that some of the older machines do not have the ability to use the longer mat. But if you do, you have to tell it, like on your sewing machine, you have to tell it which foot plate you have on. Okay, does that make sense? All right, so that's my 5 little tips I wrote down. Take notes, because I'm telling you, if your brain is 70 years old like mine is, you are not going to remember this stuff. The first thing I did was look in the Scan N Cut, because you know a bunch of designs come with it. Let's do that. So, you can buy one of these things. The only thing that comes with the Scan N Cut is this little tiny plastic spatula, which looks like a baby spoon, and this little plastic pokey thing, stylus, okay? That's all that comes with it. But there's a whole lot more toys for it than that. So, the girl that sold it to me, I did this transaction over the phone, and she said, oh, you're going to need this, and you're going to need that, and you're probably going to want this, and you're probably going to want that. So I just said, okay, fine, send it all to me. So this is one of those things, and it's this. It has more tools in it. I probably paid 50 bucks or more for this thing. So it has a nicer spatula. I have no affiliation whatsoever. I'll put some links below to Amazon, but I don't think they can even sell this stuff, so I don't know what good it would do. Maybe they can sell these things. And this is like if you're going to the dentist and you want to poke your cavities out. It's for weeding, not your teeth, your designs. And here's a little pair of pliers that you open and then they stay shut. So instead of staying open, they stay shut. And then here is a little one of these. I don't know what it's called. What are you called? A scraper, a smasher, a pusher, a smusher, I don't know. But it's to push your thing down on your mat. And then you get another one of these lovely little plastic styluses. My fingernails are all broken from using these things. Okay, so that's what this is. It was separate. I had to pay for it separately. Okay, so here we are. I haven't figured out if this thing can go up and down or just up and not down. So here's your little computer screen on your Scan N Cut. So this is what I did for my first design. I went to Home. It says, let me get my little pokey thingy. You can use your fingers too, but I've got lotion on my hand, so I don't want to mess it all up. The carriage will move to the initial position. Keep your hands away from the carriage. Okay, so this Scan N Cut takes the mat, and you know, some of them are real long, you saw me real long, and it shoves it through the back of the machine. And then it comes back forward to the front of the machine. So you have to have space behind it and space in front of it, okay? But right now, I'm going to show you how I found my first design for that first shirt that said, sew away the blues, okay? Yeah, there it is. So you click on the horn, you click on this one with the horn. Like I said, just click on everything. Click on it and see what's there. So I clicked on that one to see what was there, and I found a sewing machine. Where is it? Right there. Sewing machine. There it is, see? So I didn't have to go anywhere and buy a design or find a design or whatever. For my very first shirt, I just used that right there, that sewing machine. And then I went to the alphabet right here, and then I just spelled my words. And so my very first design was all from this little computer thing right here. I wasn't hooked up to the internet or anything, okay? But then I wanted to do this one. This is not in there. So I will show you what I did to get this design, okay? I wanted to find some SVG designs because everybody says you have to have SVG. So all I did was I went to search Google and I put SVG space DESIGNS. And then I put search. And look here what it says. SVG Designs, thousands of designs and growing. But I don't think that's the one that I went to. That's svgdesigns.com. Here's one, premium and free SVG cut files. Download SVG Designs. This one's called designbundles.net. That's not where I went either. Here's more SVG Designs, SVG files. I think I paid $3 is what I did. I actually ended up on Etsy. And I don't know which ones of these took me to Etsy. But she had a package of sewing sayings. And I thought, oh my gosh, because look what it says. And I thought, oh my gosh. And so I went to her website to find the sewing sayings. And it was a package of like 6 or 8 of them. And they're regularly $6.99 and they were on sale for $3. So I bought that. For $3.10, you can get 25 SVG files that you can cut out on your Scan N Cut. I was thrilled. I thought, finally, something doesn't cost a fortune. Or you could just go to your Word program and type up your own, you know, or whatever. Okay, so I bought my SVG files. And then I saved them in my documents. My documents right there. And I made a file called, of all things, I called it Scan N Cut. I know. I know, my lightning fast mind thought of that all by itself. There it is. It's called 256 Sewing Bundle. That's the one that I paid $3 for. So you open it up and it's got 7 designs in it. Okay? One's called Hem Your Blessings, one's called Fabric Stores, one's called Seam Ripper, one's called Full Bobbin, one's called Handmade, one's called Be Creative, and then one's a couple extras, which is Sewing Machine and some bobbins and thread, I think. Alright? So there are your designs. And so all you do is download one of them to your flash drive, which is what I did. Stick it in over here and find it. It's super easy. This is an insert. And yes, this is the next day. It's January 22nd now. And you can see I'm wearing the first shirt I made with my Scan N Cut. And I made the shirt. Judy Kessinger's Dolman sleeve top. One front and one back. I cut out the front, then I put the stuff on it, then I put it together. Alright, I have a tip. I already learned a tip. I stopped to show you a project yesterday. Well, everything fell apart from that time forward. I spent hours and hours trying to figure out what was going on. And what it boiled down to, number 1, was the design, and number 2, the thickness of the vinyl. Evidently, all vinyls are not created equally. And I had ordered some vinyl on the internet. I've ordered everything on the internet to go with this from Amazon. So I tried a vinyl. It was a really pretty light purple color and I loved it on my blue shirt. And then I paid $5 for this SVG design. Now I printed this out from the design exactly the way the design came to me. You can see it fits on this letter size piece of paper. So one would think it would fit on the 12 by 12, what do you call that thing? Mat. One would think this design would fit on the 12 by 12 mat if it fits on this paper, and this paper isn't 12 inches in any direction. When I found it, I sent it from my computer over to my machine. When I opened it up in my machine, it was like 18 inches long. It was 18 inches long and it was too wide. And it said, "This will not fit on that mat." I couldn't use the 12 by 24 mat because I didn't have a 12 by 24 piece of vinyl. I only had a 12 by 12 piece of vinyl, so keep that in mind. The vinyls come in different sizes. I should have gotten the 24-inch vinyls, and I'm getting ready to order some, because then you can do a big design. You don't have to do all little ones. Now, here's the next thing that happened. You see all these little tendrils? That's why I like this. You see all these little tendrils? I can do that on my long arm. And I love those things. That's why I like this design. Well, when I shrunk the design down, in order to get it on my 12 by 12 sheet, and it was shrunk down to like 9 by something in order to fit, I was very confused by all of that because I scanned it, but evidently the scan didn't come out 12 by 12 either. I don't know what that was about. But what happens is the little tendrils come out so tiny that they tear and they fall apart. See? Because they're so thin. Now this big tendril was fine, but you can see the butterfly, he completely fell apart down here at the bottom. He's supposed to have these little bitty lines going through his wing there. You can see he's got little bitty lines right here, at least I hope you can. But this tendril completely pulled off and I had to stick it back on there. Now this is still usable. This will fit like here. Is that right? Let me see, the butterfly has to fly. It'd be over here. It would be over here on this side. See, and it can fit right up in there on my blue shirt. Here's the front. Look at how easy this is, you guys. Look at how easy. And why do I do this instead of buying a t-shirt? Because t-shirts don't fit me at all. They pull backwards all the time. They strangle me on my neck. They have great big pleats right here because there's no bust dart in them. They're too baggy at the top and too tight at the bottom. So I hate t-shirts. Becky and I, when we first got to know each other, she was telling me I should make a t-shirt quilt for Jerry. And I said, he doesn't have any t-shirts. And she said, oh, surely he has t-shirts. I said, no, he doesn't. She said, well, then you should make one out of your t-shirts. I said, I don't have any either. She said, you don't have a single t-shirt? I said, that's right, I don't have a single t-shirt. So, to me, this is much better. Number one, you can do the front all by itself. If you mess it up on the Scan and Cut, toss it. Cut out another one. I love it. Okay? So I'm not going to give up on this because I paid $5 for it. And then here's the next thing that I noticed is that the glitter is still stuck all over the place on this piece of plastic, even though it's not part of my design. I don't know, I may not use this because the little butterfly. Oh, but you know what I could do? You know what I could do? I could cut this little butterfly off. Let's do it. I'm going to cut that little butterfly off. Make sure everything else looks okay. I'm going to cut him off. Throw him away, and then I'm going to make another butterfly just by itself. And I might make him a little bit bigger because he could be bigger and still go with this, and that way his little dividers will stay on there. I don't know for sure. You'll find out when I get it done. You'll be the first to know.